Chance favors only the mind which is prepared. Have you heard that quote before? To me, the meaning of that quote is, if you have a plan, if you have goals, they're in your mind, they're in your subconscious. As things happen, as opportunities show up, as challenges arise, you know how to make your decisions based on them because you already have the goals and plans in the back of your mind. Hey there, Austin Colson with AC Web. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about goal setting in your business and especially as it relates to digital marketing. So I was meeting with my mentor last week and he kind of drove home to me that I've got a bunch of KPIs, a bunch of goals and stuff set up, but I'm not populating them and I don't have like the high-end goals set up that I can work backwards from, right? So I spent time on an exercise last week where I set my goal, starting with the big goal, the revenue I want to make for the year. And then from there I work backwards. How much revenue I don't want to make, how much do I average per client? How many clients do I need to have to make that? How many proposals do I need to send to get a client? How many people need to come to my website before they're a lead? How many visitors, how many phone calls, those kind of numbers, right? So those are all goals, small goals set around the one large goal and they help you track. So again, today I want to talk a little bit about our goals, setting them for your digital marketing, what they are, what kind of numbers you should be looking at, and then we can go from there. So obviously there's a few different types of goals. There's short-term and long-term. Either way you want to set, let's say you set your long-term. I want to sell the business for 10 million in 5 years. From there I can work backwards, right? With that long-term big goal, I can make a bunch of short-term goals. So if I want to be at 10 million in 5 years, how much am I making now? How much do I need to make every year to reach that goal, right? So let's say I need to be I'm at 5 million, let's say now, right? Then next year I need to do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So that's a long-term goal with a bunch of short-term goals that back it up. Short-term goals can also be weekly, right? How many calls do you need to make per week or per day? How many people need to visit your website every week? So those are kind of the short-term goals and they should all kind of funnel into your long-term goal. Make sure you set SMART goals. This is something that my mentor reminded me about as well. And a SMART goal it's an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time specific, so set to the time, right? Just make sure they're realistic and you have a realistic time frame on them too. Like don't set, I want to make $10 million. You can't just set that number. I want to make 10 million in 5 years, right? So you can have timelines to work from and deadlines that you have to hit, right? That's what's going to make a goal achievable, is by knowing where you need to be at a certain amount of time and how to work backwards from there. So I kind of mentioned some before, but some key things to keep track of from a digital marketing standpoint. There's a bunch of them. I kind of covered them in my reporting video, so if you haven't seen that, check that video out. But again, so if you look at your goal, let's say your goal is revenue, right? Work backwards and think about all the things you have to do to meet those numbers and then track them. So again, if my goal is 10 million in revenue, how many clients do I need to get? So track how many active clients you have, how much my clients are recurring, how much per month do I make off each client? That's your MMR, your monthly recurring revenue. So track that. Set goals for it, right? For each one of these things, make sure you set a goal. Knowing again, how many clients, how much they make per month, how do I get to them? As I said earlier, keep track of how many proposals send to get you the number of new clients, right? For every 10 proposals I send, I close 2. So how many do I need to send to get 5 new clients a month? To be able to send proposals, I need leads. So keep track of the number of leads. How many leads does it take to get somebody that I can get on the phone, have an appointment with, and send a proposal to? And then your lead source, like your leads are gonna be coming in from a lot of things that you can track from your digital marketing. You should be tracking how many people visit your website? How many pages do they look at? How long do they spend on the website? What percentage of people that visit the website convert into a lead? Beyond that, SEO, how the keywords that I think people are gonna search for to find me, how do I show up for them? What position am I in? How many people do I have on my social media accounts? How many likes and engagements and activity do I get when I make a post? There's a lot of metrics in there that you wanna track, but I would suggest you start with your big goal and try to narrow it down to the 10 that are really gonna make a difference, right? So at the different points. For me, it's definitely revenue, number of active clients, recurring revenue, average recurring revenue, because that's the number I'm trying to increase. Let's say the average is 1,500 and I want it to be 2,500. I need to keep track of that so I can adjust it as I go. There's some great tools for tracking it, like 90.io is a cool one, but it could be as simple as a spreadsheet, a Google Docs spreadsheet, a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. Just have a row for every goal that you're trying to keep track of, every metric that you're tracking, and then have a column for each month, have 2 columns. For each month, have the goal, right? I wanna have 5,000 people on my website, and then put the actual. So each month you can look back, how did I do matching these goals? I have a goal, how did I do last month hitting it? I didn't, so I need to adjust. And then you can see a history of how that's working. And then over time, you'll be able to compare it to years past, because maybe there's some seasonality, right? Like kids going back to school and people going on summer vacation affects a lot of businesses. Black Friday affects retail business in a good way, right? So you'll be able to see seasonal trends and prepare for them if you have goals and you have tracking. Once you've defined your goals, make sure you're watching them, you're keeping track of them, you're making adjustments. You can't just stick them on the wall and forget about them. This is something I'm actively striving to be better at, but you need to set your goals. You need to set those smaller goals so that you can, take small bites of the elephant, right? Set those smaller goals, keep track of them, push for them every single month. Make sure your team and the people around you are aware of them and are pushing for them so that you can all strive for those same goals. Having goals is important. Working towards those goals is important. Keeping track of them, keeping pushing forward with them is all important, but it can be hard when you don't have somebody that you're accountable to. If you're the entrepreneur or the business owner, a lot of these goals aren't things you can talk to your team about or even your spouse about. They could be positive, they could be negative, but you need somebody that holds you accountable, somebody that you can talk to. So if you can get a coach, a mentor, a business peer that can kind of work with you on it, just somebody that can hold you accountable, and that you can hold them accountable too, ideally. But if they hold you accountable, and you can talk to them at least once a month and kind of figure out, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's what's not going on. It's gonna make you more aware of what you're doing. It's gonna make you held accountable, right? That's obvious, but that accountability really makes a big difference when you look at your reports and you go, okay, I know I'm gonna have to talk to somebody about this soon. How am I doing? It's just a nice push on top of your self-motivation, which, let's be honest, it can be hard to maintain that sometimes when you're in business. I've been in business for 20 years. There's certainly days where I have to make a conscious effort, to be proactive and to be energetic and to push the business forward. It's easy to get complacent. So having accountability and having goals is a way to avoid that complacency. So I'd love to hear what maybe some of your goals are, what things you're tracking, any suggestions you might have for the viewers of what they should track or not track. Throw it in the comments or shoot me an email. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.